Hey guys, so it's finally time for part number 2 of my Poppy's Top 17 TV Shows of All Times list. So, if you want to check out part 1 of this list, which includes shows 17 through 11, you can go ahead and click on the link that's up on your screen. And for the rest of you that have already seen part 1, let us forge ahead into part 2. Okay, so number 10 on my list is a fantastic show that was on the Sci-Fi Network that was canceled way too soon as far as I'm concerned, and that is Eureka! To me, Eureka is what would happen if Andy Griffith and science fiction got together and had a baby. That baby would be Eureka. So really, the main character of this show is Sheriff Jack Carter, and through kind of some crazy circumstances, he kind of gets mixed up in something that happens in this weird small town that he's passing through, and next thing you know, he's sheriff. Turns out that this town is kind of like a secret government-run town that's full of like scientists who are like doing things and research and inventing things for the government, and so all kinds of crazy things happen. Sheriff Carter is really kind of one of the best examples of kind of like an everyman type of character. He's like this regular kind of Joe Schmo sheriff who ends up in this town full of like geniuses who get themselves into all kinds of trouble, and time after time Sheriff Carter figures out, you know, how to get them all out of it. It's just a great show full of really great characters and really great relationships. Sheriff Carter and Allison being my favorite relationship. And they were like the ultimate kind of like will they or won't they, and they love each other, but you know, for some reason they won't tell each other, and they're really good friends, and I don't know, just a really great cast of characters. This show was on the Sci-Fi Network during the summer and was really one of my favorite summer shows until it got canceled. You can watch it on Netflix, and yeah, I'm not doing it justice. You totally should. Okay, number 9 on my list includes one of my top 5 favorite like kick-ass females on TV. The show is Alias, and the female character is Sydney Bristow. So Alias was on ABC, I think, several years ago, you guys. One of the first shows that J.J. Abrams did, who obviously now J.J. Abrams is like doing Star Trek and getting ready to do Star Wars and doing lots of huge things. This show revolves around the main character, Sydney Bristow, who's played by the awesome Jennifer Garner. And Sydney, you know, you think is kind of the typical college student getting ready to get married, blah blah blah, when it turns out that really she is a super kick-ass spy. And nobody knows it. Like, she's got this huge secret identity. This show kind of reminds me of the Bourne movies to some degree, you know, like it has that same kind of action, and it did that week after week after week. This is like your spy drama thriller, basically, and a really great show with lots of twists and turns. One of the highlights of the show is the relationship between Sydney and her handler, Vaughn, right? Because there's this attraction between the two of them, but I'm your handler, we can't do that. And so, I feel like they did such a great job too of kind of stretching that tension out, and yeah, I mean, there's so many shocks and stuff. This show, I will say, I think it was either the season 2 or season 3 finale, one of the most traumatizing season finales of any show I've ever watched. Like, all summer long, I was thinking about what was gonna happen because of the season finale. And the week after I watched it, I was seriously just like, it was all I could think about. I mean, it was a shocker, so I'm not gonna tell you, of course, because you should watch it, because this show is awesome. Okay, number 8. So this is kind of turning into the kick-ass female section of my list, because number 8 includes another of my favorite female characters on television, and that is Jessica Alba in the role of Max Squavera on Dark Angel. You guys, a fantastic sci-fi show that was done like in the 2000s. The big deal about this was that James Cameron was involved in this show when it got created. It only was on the air for 2 seasons, but they were 2 glorious seasons, and this was one of those shows that when it ended, they didn't have time to like tie everything up, so it ends with a cliffhanger and it just sucks. Again, you guys, I love sci-fi, so this is a sci-fi type of show. It's based kind of like in a post-apocalyptic world after the pulse, you know, so it's like people are living, but like things are so different. It's hard to get water, in electricity and other things like that, so it's just very kind of gritty and yeah, just a really great world that they've created. Max is a bike messenger, and pretty immediately we get that there's something different about her. She's basically got superpowers, and she keeps having these flashbacks to when she was a kid and she was held in this government facility called Manticore. And the government's looking for her because she's a part of this kind of genetically modified experiment that they did on these kids all these years ago, but her and a handful of kids managed to escape, and now she lives in the world trying to keep her head down so that they don't find her. Eventually she connects with Logan, who's kind of like a do-gooder out in the world, basically trying to expose evil, and the two kind of get together, and Logan is in a wheelchair, right? So he's kind of the rich guy who's a computer expert, and he gives her the leads, and then Max goes out and, you know, does the butt kicking, because, like I said, she's like genetically modified superhero. Like I said, there were only 2 seasons. I would say definitely check it out. A great, great show. Even with the cliffhanger at the end, you know, you could just let your imagination go and figure out what happened yourself. Okay, number 7 is Roswell. A great show that was on the CW/the WB. And another show that falls into kind of my, like, soapy teenage drama love category. So Roswell is kind of like your teenage drama show with a twist. The twist is that they live in Roswell, New Mexico, which of course is a place that most people associate with aliens. And sure enough, there are aliens in the town that go to the high school. And the main character, Liz Parker, within the first 20 minutes of the pilot episode, finds herself, like, knee-deep in, like, alien drama. Turns out that there are 3 teenage aliens living in the town who are hiding, of course, from the government, and what better place to hide in Roswell, where people would least expect to find a real alien. Max Evans is kind of like the leader of, you know, the alien kids, and it turns out that he's secretly been in love with Liz Parker forever. Something bad happens to Liz, again, within the first 20 minutes of the episode, and Max basically exposes himself to save her, and so she knows his secret. And so the show is about, you know, the aliens basically trying to keep their secret safe, but also trying to figure out who they are, where they come from, and that type of thing. And then it's about this relationship between alien boy and human girl, and that's fantastic. And it was just a really, really great show that, again, got canceled way too soon as far as I'm concerned. This is another show that is on Netflix, so go and enjoy some alien goodness. Okay, number 6 on my list is The West Wing. You guys, I am a bit of a political junkie, just a tad bit. And so this show totally appealed to that side of me. Just a great show about what it's like in the White House. And so you have this fictional President Bartlett, who is just fantastic, and I wish he was real because I would totally vote for him. And it's just a really, really great political drama. Let's talk Aaron Sorkin for a second, you guys, because he is the writer and creator of this show, and I love me some Aaron Sorkin. He is such a great writer and so good at writing dialogue. Writing dialogue is really, really hard, you guys. As somebody who is trying to write a book, let me tell you, it is not easy, and Aaron Sorkin is a master at it. One of the other really cool things about The West Wing is that they would do these kind of like, they called them the walking and talking shots, but they could seriously walk from one end of the White House to the other and in and out of rooms, and they would do it all in one take. So you had this really kind of, I don't know, like fluid type of dialogue and fluid type of scene, and it just made it seem even more real. As a person who really loves politics, it just was so interesting to see a show that really dealt with all of the, I don't know, like the trials of leadership, the trials of trying to be president, of trying to stay true to yourself, but at the same time, you know, trying to do what was best for the American people. And seeing, you know, all of the people who play a part in making the president who he is. And just fascinating, fascinating, fascinating stuff. One of my favorite relationships in the show is the one between the president and this young man who plays his kind of personal aide, Charlie. It was just so great to see this father-son relationship really kind of grow between the two of them, and yeah, they were one of my favorite parts of this show. Thumbs up, you guys, The West Wing. I say even if you don't like politics, you would like this show because it's funny, it's smart, and yeah, there was lots of drama and people getting shot and assassinations and kidnappings, and it was just awesome. Okay guys, that is it for part number 2 of this list. Don't forget to check out part 1 if you haven't already, and part 3 will be coming your way soon, with a little surprise in between. Okay guys, thanks so much for watching. See you soon. Bye.